My beloved brothers and sisters, we are not here by accident. Each one of us carries within the breath of purpose, the pulse of destiny, and the seed of greatness. But our life is not a straight road. It is a journey filled with valleys and mountains, calm waters and crashing storms. Silence is strength. Not every reaction deserves your voice. In a world filled with noise, where everyone is trying to be heard, where opinions fly faster than the wind, silence has become rare. Yet, silence is one of the greatest forms of strength a person can possess. It is not the silence of fear or surrender, but the silence of control, dignity, and inner power. When we choose silence in moments where our ego urges us to speak, argue, or retaliate, we are not being weak, we are being wise. Silence does not mean passivity, it means discernment. It means choosing not to waste your energy on things that don't deserve it. When someone insults you, mocks you, or tries to provoke you, the natural reaction is to fight back with words. But that is the reaction of the undisciplined, the one who is still a slave to the emotions of the moment, the one who has not yet learned that most battles are won not by engaging, but by walking away. There is power in silence because it unsettles people. The one who argues reveals their wounds. The one who responds immediately shows how easily they can be pulled into chaos. But the one who remains calm, composed, and quiet in the face of noise, that person commands attention without trying. Their silence is not empty, it is full of meaning. It says, I do not lower myself to this level. I know who I am, and I do not need to explain it. So many people today are addicted to being heard. They feel they must have the last word. They must correct every lie. They must respond to every criticism. But in trying to prove themselves to everyone, they scatter their peace and lose their power. Silence is not about winning the argument. It's about winning yourself, keeping your spirit intact, refusing to be dragged down into the mud. When someone misunderstands you or spreads false words about you, your first instinct may be to defend yourself. But pause. Ask yourself, will these words even matter in a year? Will the people listening even remember the details? Most times, the effort to explain only adds fuel to the fire. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency prove them wrong. Let your silence echo louder than their noise. The wise choose silence because they have nothing to prove. They are already full. They know their worth. They know that reacting to every fool only makes them one. They know that inner peace is too precious to trade for a moment of pride. That is why silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of mastery. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to voice every thought that crosses your mind. You don't have to prove yourself to people who've already decided not to understand you. There is also healing in silence. When life breaks you, when grief visits your doorstep, when your heart is heavy with pain, silence is not empty. It becomes a sacred space, a place where you meet yourself, where you face your truth without distraction. Words often fail in those moments, but silence becomes the bridge between what is broken and what can be healed. In silence, we remember what truly matters. We begin to hear the voice of our soul again, a voice often drowned out by the constant noise of the world. True strength lies in stillness. It is the ability to be calm when everything inside you is shouting. It is the ability to be unmoved when others try to shake you. The one who remains silent has learned patience, has learned control, has learned that speaking at the wrong time can cause more damage than remaining quiet. The greatest masters of life have always understood this. They spoke less but meant more. Their words had weight because they chose them with care. Their silence wasn't emptiness, it was preparation. A mark of someone who does not waste breath, someone who understands timing, someone who doesn't need to shout to be heard. Silence, in its deepest form, is also trust. It is faith that the truth will reveal itself in time, that you don't need to chase justice, because what is done in the dark will eventually come to light. When you are silent, you are saying, I trust that what is mine cannot be taken. I trust that time will vindicate me. I trust that peace is more valuable than pride. Xbox or discipline outweighs motivation. Consistency wins. Many people wait for the right feeling before they act. They wait for motivation to strike, for inspiration to spark, for some magical energy to push them forward. But those who live by feelings often live small lives. Because motivation is like the wind. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it pushes you forward, and other times it disappears without warning. Discipline, on the other hand, is solid. It is rooted. It shows up whether you feel like it or not. It is the quiet force that builds empires, while motivation is still hitting the snooze button. There is a dangerous myth in modern culture that says you must feel excited to act, that you should only pursue things when you feel passionate. But the truth is, the most successful, peaceful, and fulfilled people in this world did not rely on passion, they relied on routine. They built habits. They chose to act daily even when their hearts were tired and their minds were unsure. Discipline is showing up again and again, especially when it's boring, especially when no one's watching. Motivation is loud. It's exciting. It gets your blood pumping and your mind dreaming. But discipline is quiet. It's early mornings, sore muscles, missed parties, and focused time. Discipline doesn't shout. It whispers. It says, do it anyway. It says, keep going. It says, you made a promise to yourself. Don't break it. The difference between the dreamer and the door is discipline. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to do the hard, repetitive, unglamorous work that success requires. That's why discipline is more powerful than talent. Talent fades if not nurtured. Potential dies if not activated. But discipline, it multiplies even the smallest gifts. A person with average skill but unshakable discipline will always outlast the talented one who only works when they're in the mood. You don't build a strong body by going to the gym once when you're excited. You build it by showing up when you're tired, when it's raining, when your mind says, skip it. You don't build a successful business by working only when it's fun. You do it by pushing through fear, doubt, and fatigue. You don't grow spiritually by praying or reflecting only when it's convenient. You do it by creating space daily, whether or not you feel anything in return. Discipline is the muscle that carries you through every season. It's easy to work when you're inspired. It's easy to try when everyone is cheering. But what about the days when no one claps? What about the days when your energy is low, when results are slow, when progress is invisible? That's where discipline lives. That's where the winners are separated from the rest. Not in moments of glory, but in hidden moments of choice. There will be days when everything inside you wants to quit, days when the journey feels too long and the rewards too small. On those days, motivation will fail you, but discipline will carry you. Discipline will remind you of your why. It will say, you've come too far to stop now. It will say, you're not doing this for a feeling. You're doing it for your future. A discipline teaches you to value long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. It trains your mind to act based on commitment, not convenience. It builds self-respect because every time you follow through on your word, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. Discipline is not just about working harder. It's about becoming someone who finishes what they start. Someone who does not betray their own goals. Someone who leads themselves regardless of emotion. While motivation seeks comfort, discipline seeks growth. While motivation fades with time, discipline strengthens. When you become disciplined, you are no longer a slave to your moods. You become dangerous to laziness. You become immune to excuses. You become reliable, not just to others, but to yourself. You move forward brick by brick, step by step, until the life you imagine becomes the life you live. Explore your time is sacred. Spend it with purpose. Time is the only currency in life that you can never earn back. You can regain money, rebuild health, and repair relationships, but time once spent is gone forever. Every moment that passes is a piece of your life you will never see again. That's why the truly wise treat their time as sacred, not as something to be wasted, traded, or handed out freely, but as something divine, something that should be spent with awareness, intention, and purpose. We often live as if we have endless tomorrows. We say someday, far too often, not realizing that someday is not a day of the week. We put off our dreams, delay our healing, and procrastinate on what matters while giving away hours, days, and years to distractions and noise. But the truth is, none of us are promised tomorrow. The clock is ticking, not as a threat, but as a reminder your life is happening now. Not next year, not after things get easier. Now, you must learn to protect your time like you protect your most valuable possessions. Not everyone deserves access to it. Not every task deserves your attention. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Saying yes to everything is not generosity. It's self-neglect. It's the slow erosion of your energy, your focus, and your life's mission. Purpose begins where distraction ends. The more you value your time, the more meaningful your life becomes. Time spent scrolling mindlessly, arguing pointlessly, or comparing endlessly is time stolen from your calling. There is no return on that investment. There is no growth in that space. We often blame life for feeling empty, but much of that emptiness comes from how we use our hours. Are they aligned with our values? Are they building us? Or are they simply being used to avoid boredom, discomfort, or the truth? Living with purpose doesn't always mean doing big, dramatic things. It means being fully present in what you do. It means choosing your priorities rather than reacting to other people's agendas. It means understanding the difference between urgency and importance. The world will always try to pull you in 100 directions, but you must return again and again to what matters most to you, your growth, your peace, your purpose. There are people who will drain your time with endless drama and small talk. There are habits that will drain your time with no return. There are routines that fill the hours but starve the soul. You must learn to cut those things off, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Every no you speak to what doesn't matter is a sacred mise to what does. Look around and ask yourself, where is your time going? Who is getting the best of your energy? What are you building with your days? You don't have to fill your calendar to live a full life. You have to fill your time with what aligns with who you truly are. Sometimes that means slowing down. Sometimes that means walking away. Sometimes it means doing less, but doing it with more intention. The hours you spend in silence, reflection, learning, or loving deeply are not wasted. They are investments in your soul. They build a life that feels whole rather than just busy. The world may not always reward that kind of living, but your spirit will. Because deep down, we all know when our time is being well spent and when it's being stolen. When you begin to see your time as holy, you become less available to things that don't feed your purpose. You stop chasing validation and start choosing alignment. You don't allow guilt, pressure, or fear to make your decisions for you. You honor the limited time you've been given by using it to grow, to serve, to become. Akras, let go of what no longer serves your growth. Pakaftar, there comes a time in every journey when holding on becomes heavier than letting go. We cling to people, habits, memories, and beliefs not because they still bring us life, but because they're familiar. We carry weight that was meant only for a season, not a lifetime. Growth is not just about adding more to your life. It's also about releasing what no longer fits who you are becoming. Letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom. It takes strength to walk away from what once felt like everything. It takes courage to leave behind comfort for the sake of transformation. But growth always demands release. A tree must shed its old leaves to grow new ones. A bird must break the shell to fly. And you Two, must be willing to lay down what is no longer aligned with your purpose. Some relationships were only meant to teach you, not keep you. Some habits were survival tools, not long-term companions. Some beliefs were inherited, not chosen. You are not bound to stay the same just because others expect you to. You are not required to carry wounds, guilt, or patterns just because they are familiar. The version of you that survived is not the same version that will thrive. And if you want to rise, you must be willing to let go. Letting go is an act of love for yourself. It says, I value my peace more than this chaos. I value my future more than this fear. I value my spirit more than this comfort. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, a shift in your energy, a boundary in your conversation, a decision to stop explaining, stop chasing, stop waiting. It is choosing to no longer participate in your own suffering. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting, it means making peace. It means no longer giving power to what drained you. It means turning the pain into wisdom and moving forward. There will be grief. There will be moments of doubt. But trust that on the other side of release is freedom, and in that freedom is the space to grow. You can't take flight while holding on to anchors. The more you try to hold everything together, every connection, every expectation, every past mistake, the less room you have to become. You weren't made to carry everything. You were made to be free, to evolve, to rise. Not everyone can go with you. Not everything can stay, and that's okay. Sometimes the thing you need to let go of is the story you keep telling yourself, that you're not enough, that you must earn love, that failure defines you. These are chains dressed as truth. Release them, rewrite them, choose a new narrative, one that empowers, not imprisons. Letting go also means releasing the outcome, doing your part, then trusting the rest to unfold. Not everything is yours to fix, control, or predict. Some things are meant to fall apart so something better can be rebuilt. You cannot receive with clenched fists. You cannot move forward while looking backward. You cannot grow by staying in what no longer feeds you. There is a quiet power in surrender. It is not giving up, it is giving in to truth, to change, to divine timing. It is trusting that whatever is meant for you will never require you to shrink, suffer, or beg. It will align, it will flow, and it will grow you, not deplete you. So take inventory of your life. What still nurtures your growth? What feels heavy, forced, or hollow? Where are you holding on out of fear rather than love? Where are you dimming your light just to keep the peace? Your life is too precious to be spent in spaces where your soul is shrinking. Letting go is not the end. It is often the beginning. It clears the way for clarity. It opens the door to new blessings. It is the silent decision that often leads to the loudest transformation. Evars, guard your energy. Not everyone deserves access pots. Your energy is your life force. It is the invisible current that flows through your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, and your presence. Just as you wouldn't hand your bank account to a stranger, you shouldn't hand your energy to everyone who asks for it. Too often, we give access to people who drain us, situations that break us, and habits that deplete us. Not because they deserve it, but because we haven't realized how sacred our energy truly is. You must learn to be selective. You are not cold for setting boundaries. You are not unkind for protecting your peace. You are responsible for the energy you carry and the energy you allow. When you constantly give without replenishing, you become exhausted, anxious, bitter. That is not selflessness. That is self-neglect. Guarding your energy means knowing when to walk away, when to say no, when to unplug, and when to rest. Not every message deserves a reply. Not every argument deserves your presence. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Some people only come to take your time, your joy, your clarity. They come with noise and leave you with silence. You must learn to recognize the difference between those who feed your spirit and those who feed off it. The ones who genuinely care for you will honor your space. The ones who don't will guilt you for having it. Guarding your energy also means being mindful of what you consume. the shows you watch, the news you absorb, the voices you follow online, they all influence your state of being. You are not just what you eat, you are what you watch, what you listen to, what you allow into your inner world. Protecting your energy means creating an environment that supports your growth, not your destruction. Some environments feel familiar but are secretly toxic. Some conversations sound harmless but leave you feeling small. Some connections look good on the outside but slowly erode your peace. Pay attention. Your body knows when your energy is under attack. That tightness in your chest, that heaviness in your mind, that restlessness in your spirit. These are not random, they are signs. Honor them. You don't need to explain your boundaries to everyone. You don't need to apologize for needing time alone, space to think, or silence to heal. Protecting your energy is an act of self-respect. It's saying, I matter enough to not be available to everything and everyone. You are not here to please the world. You are here to protect your light and share it with those who value it. People with unhealed wounds often look for others to absorb their chaos. They don't want to heal, they want company in their dysfunction. If you're not careful, you become the emotional landfill for people who have no intention of changing. Guard your energy by refusing to carry burdens that aren't yours. Help when you can, but don't become someone else's emotional home. You must also protect your energy from yourself, from your own overthinking, your need to fix, your habit of overgiving. Sometimes your biggest energy leak is not other people, but your own inability to let things be. Learn to pause. Learn to breathe. Learn to be still. Not everything needs your reaction. Not everything needs your fixing. There is freedom in protecting your energy. It gives you clarity. It allows you to show up fully where it matters most. It helps you preserve your joy, your creativity, your focus. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot shine if you are constantly being dimmed. You are not for everyone, and that's okay. You were never meant to be available to everything. You are here to walk with intention, to give from overflow, and to keep your spirit intact. Guarding your energy is not selfish, it's necessary, because your peace is priceless and your energy is gold. Correct gratitude unlocks abundance. Always give thanks, because gratitude is more than saying thank you. It is a posture of the heart. A mindset, a way of seeing the world that transforms what you have into enough and what you are into someone who lacks nothing. In a world that constantly pushes for more success, more possessions, more recognition, gratitude invites you to pause and see what is already here. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, from what's broken to what's beautiful. The person who lives with gratitude walks through life differently. They do not wait for perfect moments to feel joy. They create joy in ordinary moments. A warm meal, a genuine smile, a lesson learned through struggle. These things too are treasures. Gratitude turns them into gold. It softens the heart and clears the mind. It silences the voice of entitlement and awakens the voice of contentment. You can have everything and still feel empty if you lack gratitude. And you can have very little yet feel rich if your heart is thankful. Gratitude does not deny pain or pretend everything is perfect. It simply recognizes that even in the storm, there is still something to hold on to. It does not mean you settle. It means you start from appreciation, not deficiency. You begin from fullness, not lack. When you live with gratitude, life begins to feel like a gift, not a burden. You stop measuring your worth by comparison. You stop chasing happiness in external things. Instead, you become present. You see clearly. You understand that every breath is grace, every heartbeat a miracle, every moment an opportunity to feel alive. Gratitude grounds you. It brings you back to what truly matters. It's easy to be thankful when things go well, but the deepest form of gratitude is built in the valleys, in the quiet moments of reflection, in the struggles that taught you strength, in the losses that revealed what you truly value. When you can say thank you, not just for the blessings, but for the lessons, you begin to walk in true abundance. Because now, nothing is wasted. Everything has meaning. Gratitude also changes your relationships. It teaches you to see the people in your life not as obligations, but as gifts. It softens your words. It deepens your presence. You begin to speak with more kindness, forgive more easily, and love more fully. When you live with a grateful heart, you no longer take people for granted. You notice the small things, the effort, the support, the love that's often unspoken but always there. Gratitude is not just emotional, it's transformational. It changes your energy, your vibration, your perspective, and what you focus on expands. When you're grateful, you attract more to be grateful for. You begin to align with abundance. Not because you've acquired more, but because your soul now sees the richness that was already around you. There will always be things in life you wish were different. Always challenges, always desires. But you can still live fully and joyfully when you choose gratitude. It doesn't mean you stop dreaming. It means you stop complaining. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start appreciating the imperfect ones. Gratitude makes life enough. It makes you enough. Make it a practice. Not just in the big things, but in the smallest details. Thank your body for carrying you. Thank the sky for another sunrise. Thank the struggle that didn't break you. Thank the silence that taught you peace. Let gratitude be your daily habit, your silent prayer, your sacred rhythm. The most abundant people are not those with the most possessions, but those with the deepest appreciation. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a choice. And when you make that choice again and again, you begin to live not just with more, but with meaning. So remember this: life does not reward the loudest voice, the busiest schedule, or the one with the most possessions. Life honors the one who walks with purpose, protects their peace, grows through pain, and gives thanks in all seasons. You are not here to chase noise. You are here to live with depth. Let your silence be strength. Let your discipline be your foundation. Let your time be sacred, your heart be light, and your gratitude unshakable. In the end, you don't win life by having more. You win life by becoming more aware, more intentional, more alive. Let go of what's holding you back. Guard what feeds your soul. And above all, live in a way that, if today were your last, you'd be at peace knowing you gave it everything. With heart, with courage, and with truth.